Okay, everyone right to go?
Go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is lockdown number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Melbourne's locked down again, so please stay inside. The liquor store around the corner is still open, so go stock up on your rum and Coca-Cola. It looks like baking's back in our lives. Time to binge all the Real Housewives. Get off social media and have a read. Do as little exercise as you need. Time to finish off last year's jigsaw. You thought we were done with lockdown 4. It's just another little one, we'll survive. Just sit down on your ass and stay inside. Lockdown number 5.
Good evening, everyone. 5 o'clock kickoff today, a little bit earlier than normal. Saturday, the 17th of July, episode number 44 of So What's Been Happening. Lovey, how are you, mate? Welcome, Lovey.
G'day, mate. How are you, buddy?
Good. I have to apologise for the pitter-patter of, it's not little feet on the roof, it's rain, mate. I can't get rid of that little noise in the back of the shed, so we'll have to deal with it.
No,
so here we are again,
very
mate.
Cool.
Here we are again.
Yeah, I'm. People say you get used to certain things after a while when you keep doing it. But I feel like I've gone the other way. That other famous saying about insanity: you keep doing the same thing over and over, and hoping it actually fixes things, and it hasn't, and it doesn't, and it's not the solution. And it's, someone said to me, the government themselves, all governments have said that lockdown's a last resort. So I'm trying to work out how we went from 0 almost to last resort in the space of about 8 hours on Thursday afternoon. I get it. Look, I understand that, if you want to short sharp and get rid of it, then all right. But it just doesn't sit well with me when they then assume that everything's still going to be A-OK when you're doing this, when it's not. And in particular for people that mate, within the entertainment industry, with hospitality, small business, they're the very things that have been absolutely slammed, and they've got nothing in between. And I'd hate to be a sole trader. I would genuinely hate to be a sole trader in this state right now.
Yeah.
It's just horrendous. It really is.
Yeah, it sure is. And as we know, there's a big chance this isn't 5 days. We'd like to stay optimistic and think it's going to be 5 days. I can't see that at all. In fact, I'll shout the beers, Lovey, if we get out in 5 days, mate. So there you go. There's a bit of incentive to try and stay at home.
I'll go you one better, mate. We don't open up until the end of the month.
Yeah, well, that's a big call. Well, let's get someone else on.
19
let's
today,
get someone
mate.
else on who we can. We'll guarantee this bloke's not going to shout the beers. Cuz, how are you, mate?
Good evening. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we both?
Yeah, look, largely better now that we're jumping on this show and having a little chat, but I'll be perfectly honest, mate, a bit deflated on a Saturday, flat Saturday. Well, not only is the weather half ordinary anyway, but I could tell you I could find a nice little bar to listen to some music in this afternoon and tonight instead of kicking at home doing nothing, to be honest. And that's sadly that's what it looks like for the next few days, at least.
Yeah,
I
think Days is optimistic. I think.
Oh yeah,
I'm thinking weeks.
Yeah, I think we're all realistic on this one, and we've all been here before. I think the very first lockdown started off with a 5-day, 1 week, turned into 1 week, turned into 117 or 111 days. So it was pretty hard to stomach, as we all know. And then we got number 2, 3, 4, and 5 was never supposed to happen, pretty much like our show was never supposed to go past number 1. But jokingly enough, we've got to show number 44. So we might as well kick off with famous number 44s, boys. Have you got one?
Justin Madden.
Yeah, okay.
Johnny Platt.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's got to be the Rat for me as well.
What did that little tip head St Kilda wear? Stevie Milne, what did he wear?
The tip Rat. I think he might have been 44, come to think of it. What about Cubs? Can you flash back through the archives on that one?
I'm just trying to think. What was the tip rate?
Little two. That's
a good question.
Yeah, we never saw the front of him too often. We did see the back a lot because he was pretty quick, old Milne, and did some damage against the Demons plenty of times.
Credit where it's due. Very good footballer.
Yeah, very much so. Why don't we kick off with a bit of footy ball? 44 in basketball. I don't think I know of too many, to be honest. I know a 45 coming up, but we'll save that for the next show.
Yeah, okay. Oh, keep rattling it. Hey, Glenn, keep rattling that 10 inside your head, mate. It'll come
I can't think. Milne. 39?
He was 44.
No, he was in the 40s, and I actually think he was 44. So, righto, let's kick off with a bit of footy, boys, and what's happened in the last few weeks. We haven't talked sport for a few weeks at least, and fair to say the 8's shaping up now. I still think there might be a little sneaky, but let's kick off with top of the table in the live stakes anyway. Won their last 4 out of 5, the Cat, on the winning trot of the last 3. They're looking pretty good, the Cats, let's be honest.
Yeah, they are.
You can trust them.
They are looking good.
You can trust what
I'm still a little bit concerned about them, I think, though. Stewart's fantastic, but I'm not. If they've got taller opponents, tall forwards, Mark, I think they struggle a little bit. When Stewart's good, but when he has to man up and go man on man, I don't think he's as effective, for want of a better word.
So who's
I think you've got plenty of other options. That's the secret, though. I think I saw a thing just posted not long ago. I think it was 8 years or 10 years every year, kick 40 goals or more, Tomahawk. That's a big stat. Let's face it. If you'd banked 40 minimum goals every year as a forward. It's not a bad starting point, is it?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
No.
You take that any day.
Does the 8 change?
Well, let's just whip through who we got there, and then we'll talk on the last couple that are sneakies. So Melbourne dropped to second for the moment, obviously with a game to play today. Sitting on 52 points. Win, loss, back to the old Demons a little bit, what they used to be like. So that's a little bit worrying. Short price favourites, obviously, today against the Hawks, but a healthy percentage, which we don't normally have as a Demon supporter. Anything over 100 is good for us, so that's a great result. I'm still a little bit nervous about that forward line. Hasn't settled yet. It's going to mean a lot of centerman goals and running through that classic running through in waves, and that's going to be the old story of when that tightens up, that gets harder and harder. So you're going to need a big clunker. Ben Brown was serviceable without kicking goals last week, so it'll be interesting to see with Vandenberg back this week, gets his opportunity with a little bit more grunt. So we'll see how we go. And then the Western Bulldogs sitting there on a game behind with Port Adelaide at 3rd and 4th. They've been both interesting, I'd fair to say. What's your thoughts on that top 4?
Yeah, look, I think Port is susceptible. I think they might get done by the Saints. Is that tonight? Tomorrow? Tonight?
It's already happened, mate. You must have been asleep. The Port Adelaide have won by 2 goals this afternoon.
Oh, Port won. That was on today.
2 goals this afternoon.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, mate.
So that surprised me, really. That surprised me with St Kilda's form, to be honest.
You sleeping through it doesn't surprise me.
I didn't watch it. Wasn't even where it was on. Don't care. I don't actually know it was on.
And down to 5th, Brisbane Lions on their way down. What do you think?
Look, I actually find Brisbane a bit more trustworthy than Port. I know Port won today, but I think Brisbane is still probably going to be a bit more trustworthy, if you know what I mean. I think they bat a bit deep.
Yep.
I think the only three you could possibly trust for the premiership now, to be honest, are Geelong, Bulldogs, or Melbourne. The problem for Melbourne, I think the Dogs can match it with the Cats because they've got firepower both in the forward line but in the middle as well. So the Doggies mids do kick goals. So if Melbourne haven't got a genuine goal kicker up forward, so if McDonald's not having a great night, and if Benny Brown's sinking it up, I don't know where that leaves Wiedemann, by the way. But if Vandenberg comes in and he does his job forward and a bit pinky through the middle, awesome. But what you guys need more from is someone like Oliver to actually hit the scoreboard more. If you start seeing him hitting the scoreboard a lot more, then that relieves a lot of that pressure on Petrarca, Vandenberg, and those other blokes to try and kick a score for you. I think if Oliver can get 2 goals a game from here on in, awesome.
And I think the secret is he's getting at least 1 goal from another 3 or 4 players. Makes a massive difference. Petrarca gets 1 a week. Oliver gets 1. Yeah. Max Gorn gets 1. And it changes the numbers for sure. All of a sudden, it's a little bit harder to get.
Yeah, but it changes the dynamic of how you try and defend against Melbourne. Everyone knows how to defend against Melbourne right now. So Melbourne are getting over the line by sheer talent and willpower. They're not smashing teams out of the park. They're winning by about 2 or 3 goals. If they start varying who it is that kicks their goals for them, on top of the fact that a couple of their forwards kick them, then you as a defending team have to try and work out how the hell are we meant to cover that stuff.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see how that goes. What's going on with Glenn's hat?
Yeah, I think Glenn's decided he's made a green screen out of
trying a bit of green screen action
out of his cap, which is interesting. Sydney Swans, Richmond and West Coast. What do you think in that last part of the 8 there?
Sydney is safe. They're playing really good footy. I think they'll actually leapfrog Port and one of Port and Brisbane by the end of the year.
So they got GWS this week.
Oh, they'll smash GWS. I think Richmond drop out now. It's Dusty out for the year, and
massive loss.
West Coast will drop out. As poor as Freo were the other night, I'll stick to my before the season prediction. They'll make the 8. They'll make one of those top 2 spots. And I'll tell you what, if GWS beat the Swans this weekend, they deserve it, and they'll make up the 8th spot. If not, it'll actually be us. There you go. We'll sneak in, and then we'll get smashed again first week like we normally do.
Well, you got North this week, and if ever you're looking for a value bet, North had a win last week. They're at paying $67, so that could be an interesting one for sure against Essendon, who are a little bit unpredictable, no doubt. They're doing well, but they've gone loss, win, loss, win in the last 5. So anything can happen, as you know, this game. So we've got Carlton sitting down there. I think they're done. I think we all know they're done at 13th, but still sitting at 24 points. So get a couple of wins. You just never know. But it's been an interesting season, fair to say, and this bubble scenario or what's going to happen next, we just don't know what's going to pan out for the next few weeks. So they've obviously Richmond and a few other clubs all decided last second to jump on the flight and get the hell out of Victoria, which was the safe place for a few weeks there, and then that's gone pear-shaped, and we're all off to Queensland. So, let's see what happens. But it wouldn't be a cheap exercise for the league moving these players around. That's for sure.
Hey, tell me why there's a game at the MCG tonight, Melbourne Hawthorn, game at the MCG tomorrow, game at Marvel tomorrow, correct? So why did Essendon North go to Gold Coast?
Well, I can only
all in one place.
I can't see the reason, really. I mean, we're going back-to-back games at Metricon, so
you can't fit
we must have been able to play a couple of
game at Marvel this afternoon. Yeah, you've already played a game at Marvel this afternoon. You've got a game at the G tonight. You've got another game at the Marvel tomorrow. You've got another game at the G. So I don't know where you're going to get the 3rd game at Marvel then. It has to. One of the games
but Essendon was scheduled to play at Marvel. That game was already scheduled to play at Marvel before it all went pear-shaped.
What could have happened?
I don't see why they went to the Gold Coast.
What could have happened? We could have brought back the old around the grounds on a Saturday afternoon where we actually had games head to head, and we used to get the whisper Mate, yeah,
AB,
north
CD,
of
EF.
Beaton Essendon. North of Beaton Essendon. Have you heard that? Like, it was just
Yeah.
great. It used to be
Good
great.
stuff.
The first thing you'd find out about was someone had the old little transistor, but times have changed, or it goes up on the scoreboard. Who's A? Who's A and B
Who's A?
again?
Who's B?
You
Yeah.
know, it was great
Well, you could
times.
play.
But
You could play it up at Tullamarine if you wanted to.
yeah, why not?
Should have
Play it
played at
indoors.
Tulla.
Play it indoors at Tulla.
In the big hangar.
Yeah,
In the hangar.
exactly. Now, on the Bombers, we've obviously you guys massive Bombers fans, but I've rustled up another Bombers superstar today just to come on and have a chat to us, and good friend of the show, and he's gonna talk to us about little things that are happening in his life at the moment. But sadly, we're all back in this lockdown phase at the moment, but we look forward to getting back out. So let's bring him up. Mr. David Cosma. How are you, Dave?
And I've got the cap on.
Nice.
Have a look at you.
Mate, what's going on? Have the Saints beaten the Power? You should know every game that we're waiting on the results on, mate. We are
Sorry,
we
mate.
are knocking
I
on the door,
apologise.
buddy.
I apologise.
You know, Dave.
I was willing the Power over the line, buddy.
Yeah.
We're in there with
You
a
know what,
chance.
Dave? He'd rather just smash the umpires about.
You'd rather
Have a listen to
give the
who's
umpires a
talking.
crack. Yeah, well.
You'd rather get a cheeky little kip in rather than
Yep.
watch those results that are going to get us into the finals, mate. Come on.
All about the
Cuz.
kips, mate. All about the kips.
Fair
How are
enough,
you,
fair
Dashing
enough.
David?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right.
Good to hear.
Yeah, we're here again. Bit of a lockdown, and I think we're kind of we're used to the rigmarole now. We're used to the process. So yeah, just riding the wave, mate.
Yeah, it's bloody. How many gigs did you have any on for this weekend?
I didn't, fortunately. No, touch wood.
Yep.
I've managed to I got one canned the last snap lockdown, which is unfortunate, and I managed to sort of get out of this one without any gigs being cancelled. But yeah, I know plenty of people that have had their shows canned, unfortunately, which is a really difficult thing, not only for for working musos, but all these venues. I mean, we nipped down to one of our local restaurants on Thursday night just after the announcement, and he was saying, I just literally ordered everything for the weekend, and we sort of said, well, what happens with that? And he's like, well, I've literally got to throw it out. I can't freeze these things that I've ordered and serve them. I've got to throw them out. So yeah, look, it has a ripple effect, doesn't it, with so many people and so many industries, and it might only be a snap down 4 or 5 day thing. Hopefully it's only that much, but it still has can have a detrimental effect on so many. So honestly, mate, me missing out on a gig would be the kind of the least of the issue. I think it's a difficult situation, and just hope we can just get through it and we come out of it next week.
Have you had any indicators, Dave?
Sorry, mate.
Have you had any indicators from publicans, etc., that might tell you how far we might be going with this one this time? Like, do you get the feeling, like with no bookings available in weeks in advance or days in advance, nothing like that yet?
Nah. And you know what? I think one thing I think I've learned is that every venue owner or every public and every live music booker, they approach it differently. The definitive lockdown now, we come out of it this date, doesn't necessarily mean that the venue will reopen. A venue recently that I was dealing with, we had a gig booked and not everything was in lockdown, but they felt it was, not a viable option for them to remain open, even though things weren't hard lockdown. So, yeah, look, everyone's got a different take on it. I think it's all personal. How big's your venue? How's it going to affect by not having the doors open? Everyone approaches it differently. So, yeah, it's a bloody tough one, I tell you.
And how things in your world, mate?
Yeah, look, I'm good. As 3:30, 3 o'clock on Thursday, the whispers were becoming louder in terms of we're going to go into lockdown. So we braced ourselves for the whole announcement. And, we look, with very little notice, yesterday being Friday, we were already back into the homeschooling process. So I think at least our experience with where our kids go, they've got a really good grasp on getting things in motion very quickly. The communication's very good, and Friday morning we're back on the computer with the kids and video calls and lessons, and we got through the day yesterday, and I think we're going to be doing that for a little bit of the week coming up, hopefully only that much. So yeah, look, I'm pretty good personally. We started renovating at our house about 3 weeks ago, so it's been a little bit of a madhouse, to be honest. So yeah, look, I think we just go with the flow. My wife's lucky enough to be able to work from home. As I said, I didn't have any gigs over this weekend, so I'm really hoping for certainly not only my industry but every industry that things pick up and are back on track next week for everyone.
And
so renovating, mate. Have you,
yeah, renovating, tough challenge.
It is.
What's the go, mate? Are you that bored? Are you that bored now with lockdowns? You decided I'm just going to fix my house.
Yeah, pretty much. I pulled out a pick and shovel from the shed, and I just started digging, and just going to see where it takes me, mate.
Is it where you're going to stack? Is it where you're going to stack all the guitars? Looks like you've stolen a few more since I last saw, mate. Have you been moonlighting around everyone else's garages?
Pretty much, and I've got a couple of my brothers in here just to prop up the just to prop up the image a little bit, just to make it look.
Does he know that?
No.
Does he know you've got them? No. Okay. No. Awesome.
He doesn't know he's got him out of the case anyway. Put it that way. It's looking a bit more like cash converters there at the moment, Dave.
It is. I can do you a good deal on an electric and an acoustic if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. And what time's the Elvis history lessons kick off, Dave, with the kids? Are you back doing that?
Yeah, I've just gone easing them into it this time round. So just getting them to maybe watch a couple of the movies just to kick it off. Beautiful. And then I'll get into the specifics of his life and times in the near future, mate. I'll be hammering it home again, that's for sure.
Show them 68 comeback special, mate.
Hey, absolutely. That's the pinnacle right there. Very nice, cuz. I like it.
That was only 53 years ago,
Yeah, I know. If you say real quick, yeah.
Scary stuff, isn't it? Unbelievable. And to think, not to harp on, but to think he was making a comeback at the age of 33, eh? His career had already gone full circle, and he had to do a comeback. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one thing we know, there's definitely going to be a few comeback tours after this lockdown phase where everyone's going to be dragging out the guitars. And so sad to see the Punters Club reunion gig that was organised by Richard Moffat, who was a very well-known booker of the Corner and a few other venues. Yeah, really sad to see there was people coming from all over Australia for that gig. Really sad that gig's not going to happen at the moment, and it's going to be really hard to pull that one together because everyone was really ready to go with that one for Fitzroy at the Fitzroy Mills. So, it's going to be tough, as we know, Dave, and trying to get little venues going again is going to be tough enough, let alone the bigger ones. And shout out to the picture behind me, James Young, who's persistent, if nothing else, with the Cherry Bar, Yaya's and Hotel Westwood. And if anyone wants to order some cocktails, James is going to personally deliver them for you this weekend. So any orders before 2 o'clock, he will make sure you're ready to go. And that was that's really 2 o'clock p.m.
2 o'clock in the morning. Okay.
2 o'clock p.m. He'll make sure they're on your doorstep that afternoon. So ready for the night session.
He's got a really nice collection too, James, of Elvis jumpsuits. So I don't know. I'm just saying maybe you put a little request in there to pop one on. He might get in there, do a little bit of this, bringing the cocktail down to the front door.
Absolutely. Well, we know with James when we had a chat to him. He doesn't need too much. He doesn't need too much provoking to put another suit on and dress up. So he loves it.
He does. He's good value.
Any danger, Dave, of an Elvis song, mate, to get us through the afternoon?
Today?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there's a big request.
Mate. Let's do it, mate.
Here's a
Why
guitar
not,
I played earlier.
Why not? Thanks for indulging us, Dave. That's a great surprise. What do you got for us?
I reckon I'm going to have to play an Elvis number that, as our good friend Aaron, the hostess with the mostest here, he posted something about this song the other day, which is one of my favourite Elvis songs, called "Devil in the Sky."
Oh, yes.
Devil in disguise. But my mother used to call it the devil in the sky. Shall we?
We shall.
As long as it doesn't make me cry, mate.
You look like an angel, look like an angel, walk like an angel, walk like an angel, talk like an angel, but I got wise. You're the devil in disguise. Oh yes, you are the devil in disguise. You fooled me with your kisses. You cheated and you schemed. Heaven knows how you lied to me. You're not the way you seem. You look like an angel, look like an angel, walk like an angel, walk like an angel, talk like an angel, but I got wise. You're the devil in disguise. Oh yes, you are the devil in disguise. I thought that I was in heaven, but I was sure surprised. Heaven help me, I didn't see the devil in your eyes. You look like an angel, look like an angel, talk like an angel, talk like an angel, walk like an angel, but I got wise. You're the devil in disguise. Oh yes you are the devil in disguise. Oh yes you are the devil in disguise. Oh yes you are the devil in disguise. Oh yes you are.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Lovely, Elvis.
Very good.
Thank you, mate.
And
Great song.
just a
Sorry,
shout out to the
impromptu.
devil in disguise, Mr. Dan Andrews at the moment. Come on, Dan. Do us a favour, mate. Do us a favour. And not to play political sides, but I think they're all trying. They're all trying hard. But sadly, some of this vaccination side of things looking like it's playing out politically, which isn't good. So whether you're a vax lover or a vax hater, I think it's half irrelevant at the moment. You got to do the right thing, and it looks like it's going to be our only ticket to ride, really, at the moment. And then you just never know after that. I don't even think that's going to get us home at the moment. So let's do the right thing.
I got my cheeky jab the other day, my first one. I've got still a bit of a sore arm, actually.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, I must admit.
In the end, is that all you got? Just a sore
Yeah,
arm?
that's all. No, I felt fine. I literally got a bit of a sore arm that night into the next day, and feeling good.
Yeah.
I got this twitch that I can't get rid of, but apart from that, I'm good, mate.
Absolutely.
Nothing to do with the vaccine, mate. That's having Cuzzo in your ear once a fortnight.
Yes. Yeah, well, I fronted up for the first one and had no issues. Just a little bit of a headache, actually, which was no big deal in the end, and a bit of a sore arm, as you mentioned. But I think that's all down to you jab it in the muscle, mate. That's what's going to happen. You're going to get a sore arm. So no different to the old corkies. Corkies I used to give you in the arm down at school, Dave. So we moved on, and for whatever it is, 6 weeks later, second jab's done for me. So I'm fully vaxxed with nowhere to go now. So you'd like to think,
Aaron, sorry,
Yes,
mate.
mate.
How do you feel about that when you're fully vaxxed, you've done the right thing,
Yep,
and yet you're still stuck in here? You feel about as useful as Anne Frank's drum kit. Like, what's the go, mate? I just don't. It needs to get to a point where it if you've had both vaccinations, you should be actually allowed to get out and about.
Yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I didn't even get a didn't even get a lollipop or anything, mate. They made me sit down.
Nothing, mate.
I had to wait. I had to wait an extra half an hour, which was, yeah. I mean, it's a good thing, mate, to be honest. But I turned up early. I was there early. I had an early appointment, and there was not another person there. So that's frustrating to see. And I reckon by the time I left, there was about 4 people. So I don't know what the hell's going on, mate. To be perfectly honest, I reckon everyone at any age now that's eligible for it has had their opportunity, and I really think they need to open the floodgates a little bit more, because it's proven that we've obviously got COVID issues down to younger ages. So if you feel like that's going to make a difference, and that's how you have done your research and that's what you want to do, and don't get me wrong, it's not 100% bulletproof proven either, but is anything at the end of the day. If the doctor tells me that you got to have this for a reason, mate, I'm lining up. And if that means a ticket to ride, it'd be good. But yeah, as I said, I didn't even get a McDonald's voucher, mate. It's a little bit disappointing, but it is a bit frustrating that me sitting here now knowing that I've done the right thing, and it's looking like being 12 months away from everyone, or a percentage being high enough that the doors open up properly. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt venues. It's going to hurt businesses. There's a lot of businesses that talked about not reopening after number 4 lockdown. Number 5 is really hurting. Saw an interview with the guy that runs Panama Dining Room upstairs on Brunswick Street, Smith Street there, and the functions that he was going to run over the weekend, he's just thrown away 30 grand, and he's been paying his staff for the entire lockdown period out of his own pocket to try and keep everything going, and he's a broken man, mate. There's no doubt about it. So what the frustrating part that I see is these government handouts and supports don't seem to be coming through yet, and they're talking about payments not coming through from the first lockdown. When the hell are we going to be eligible to get a payment from the 5th lockdown?
And the piss poor excuse that's been given so far, and particularly in Victoria, they talk about, it's an issue with the ABN, or it's an issue because you're not GST exempt. And all, you know what? These businesses are they're paying their taxes in their own way. They're still paying land tax to you guys. They're still doing all sorts of things. So the least you can do is actually just stump up, put the money in the account. If there's an administration error, fix it 6 months later.
Fix it later.
Just get the money to the people that absolutely need it. And it's the same thing now. There was some absolute stone cold lies that were told yesterday at the press. Absolute stone cold ones about that stuff. No payment. Yep. There's about 25% of people haven't had a payment. So, don't tell me that they're on top of it. They're doing the right thing. Now it's over to the feds. Well, no, it's all of you people that are in a privileged position. You're there for a reason. Stump up and actually do your job. That's all we ask. And if you can't
do the right thing, spot on.
Just give it to someone else that can. Yeah, I listened to ABC Radio for about half an hour yesterday. I was normally listening to Triple M or Triple J or whatever, but in the car it was on ABC Radio, and I was just listening for the sake of it. And there were 3 people on. 2 of them shut their doors permanently this week because of this, and the other person said they're probably going to hold on for another week or so, and then they'll shut their doors. And and they said, and all 3 of them have said, we actually haven't received a lick of support either from the feds or the state governments at all. So all of these payments that they're saying are happening and not. That's a joke.
That's almost incredulous when you think of that, isn't it? That they haven't got any level of support financially at all. It's just, whether it's from a state or a federal, that's just not right, is it? That's just not what this should be about. Like if people are entitled to the support, as you said, Lovey, just find a way to give it to them, for Christ's sake. We'll worry about the payment back later on. Even if there is a payment back, just get it sorted.
Again, if I'm a person, and if I'm a person who runs a business, owns a business, does whatever, and I have paid all applicable taxes to me, it shouldn't matter if I've got a GST number or not. It shouldn't matter if my ABN is not up to scratch or whatever. You know what? My business is registered. You look it up. Please pay me so I can keep my business running. If I owe you something later on down the track, let me get to it once I've got the business up and running again. Yep. Right now, this whole administration bullshit and the reason for that not giving money, that's just It's just cruel. It is absolutely cruel. And then they'll wonder why they don't have revenue and incomes coming in back into the state and back in federally in 3 to 6 months' time. Because you kill the very people that were giving you your revenues for your budget.
Yeah, well, the thing is, once these cafes,
Absolutely
pubs,
stupid.
businesses, some of these other businesses go under, people don't just start again. And also, there's not a new wave of people coming in to take over cafes and stuff. Some of these pubs will literally never become and continue to be pubs again.
So, quick question. Who would want to invest in Victoria right now? Who would want to come to Victoria to open up a business? Who would want to come to Victoria to start up a full-time job in any of these sort of industries? No one. No one. Yeah. No one. There are people leaving in their thousands permanently.
Yeah, they sure are.
It's a generation. This is a generational issue that'll take years to fix.
Yeah, well, as you know, working in the city, Lovey, it's a ghost town, sadly, and it's going to be a long time to drag them back.
It feels like Tombstone. I reckon Tombstone would have felt busier than this. It's just a joke.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get a little bit more upbeat now. I reckon I can hit Dave up for another one. But
yes,
Dave, get us out of this depression.
The king again, mate. Be good.
Give us something a little bit positive.
All right.
You got one? I know there's not too many. There's not too many positive songs being written, as a lot of artists talk about. And if they had to make money out of positive songs, they'd be broke. So,
bloody hell! I'll tell you what, there are going to be some depressing albums coming out post-COVID.
Sure is.
Oh, Coldplay, I love it.
It's going to be the new downtrodden genre that's going to take over the world. No, I thought
Coldplay will make a killing. That's all they write about.
That's it, mate. I thought what I'd do is the great Ringo Starr, the unsung, in my humble opinion, the unsung hero of the Fab Four. He celebrated his 81st birthday only a couple of weeks ago, and
he looks 50.
Well, I'm not saying that he's had a bit of work, but I reckon he's had a bit of work, old Richard Starkey. So I thought, again, Ringo, to me, is the unsung hero. Personally, the greatest drummer that's ever walked the planet. I know I'm going to be, shot down in flames for having that opinion. God forbid I didn't say John Bonham. But Ringo's an absolute superstar. He, the Aussie tour they did here in '64, he rejoined the Fab Four in Melbourne at Festival Hall because he was unwell on that Australasian tour. And that famous picture of Jimmy Nicol, who was filling in for Ringo at Essendon Airport out there, sitting all alone after that whirlwind Beatlemania experience, and then he was just shunted out to make way for Ringo to come back. So yeah, and you probably know that Ringo got a song for pretty much on every Beatles album that was released, and the first one that he recorded and sang on was a song called "Boys," which is a bit of a strange song for the Beatles to record, and there was a lot of talk at the time whether they should actually record it or not. So I thought I'd do a Ringo song for you, if you're okay with that.
Beautiful, absolutely, mate.
So as I say, this one's called "Boys." And my good friends in a band called Backbeat, who are a early Beatles music tribute band, do a really good rendition of this song. I've been told when a boy meets a girl, take a trip around the world. Hey, hey, bop you up, bop you, hey, hey, bop you up, bop you, hey, hey, bop you up. Yes, say you do. My girl says when I kiss her lips, she gets a thrill in her fingertips. Hey, hey, bop you up, bop you up, hey, hey. Hey, hey, bop you up, well, say you do. I wanna talk about boys. Don't you know I mean boys? I wanna talk about boys. boys now. Yeah, boys, yeah, boys. When I talk about boys now, what a bottle of joy, yeah. My girl says when I kiss her lips, gets a thrill in her fingertips. Hey, hey, bop you up, bop you up. Hey, hey, well, hey, hey now. Yeah, say you do. I said I talk about boys, yeah, boys. Don't you know I mean boys, yeah, boys. Well, I talk about boys, yeah, boys. Boys, yeah, boys. Well, I talk about boys now. Out of bottle of joy. Bit weird, I have to say, singing a song about boys to three boys. There you are.
That's a boy fest.
But we just went with it.
We
You know what? You sung a song coming from the happiest man in that whole bloody band, and he's still alive and kicking now. That's where we should all be going. So
Peace and love, mate.
But he's quite. I find it astounding. He's probably a bit like what's the dude out of the Rolling Stones again? He looks like 150, but he's still kicking.
Charlie Watts.
No,
Keithy.
well, no, it wasn't Charlie.
Oh.
Big Keithy.
Keithy, yeah.
Fair dinkum. He looks like an old tree. He's still floating around.
He looks like Monty Burns.
He's just defied everything. I mean, seriously, if there's just a textbook of how not to live life to not live long, he would have ticked everything off, but he's unbelievable, that bloke, seriously.
Absolutely is. If Keith
Wonder what
survives
he's also-
COVID, anyone can.
Oh, yeah. Correct.
That should be a t-shirt.
Keith has done himself a mischief.
I reckon. I think it'd be great to see how Keith's insides look once he's eventually gone. He can't have anything left, can he?
Unbelievable.
He couldn't. Yep.
Yeah, I think like a good bottle of wine, mate, twisted upside down and shaken up a little bit. Keithy's still got plenty to give, mate, but Sarah Burke makes a good comment. Preservation, and that's a good one for Keithy.
Yes, good point. He's pickled. He's pickled. He's pickled himself.
Incredibly pickled, that's for sure.
You reckon he jumps in a jar every night and just sits there instead? Just
puts it in the pickle juice.
Oh, yeah. He's just, and part-time, I think part-time he sits on in a vinegar jar at your local fish and chip shop there with the bloody onions.
No,
Yes.
I don't know how he does it. I reckon if I tried that, I'd be sick every day for starters. So I don't know how he does it.
I haven't had a good pickled onion from a fish and chip shop for a while, actually. I've got to do that.
Oh, my dad used to love them. When we used to go get fish and chips, he'd always have one of them. Oh.
Hang on. Do you guys eat it raw?
My dad used to have one.
Raw.
He'd take it out, and the bloke would give it to him and eat it.
You'd
Bang,
eat it there.
straight in.
You'd eat it there, mate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pickled onion is a traveller. From the fish and chip shop to the car, mate. Love it.
My sister one night dry reach at the fish and chip shop when Dad did that. I thought she was going to be cooked.
I'm with it.
Looking up as a kid, I remember always looking up at the old bowl or the bowl that no one ever opened. It was kind of like the off goldfish bowl water, and it was shocking. And then you all of a sudden you'd hear an old guy, "Oh, and one of those things." And
With a pickled onion.
he'd open it up and he'd just drop it in, and it'd be demolished. But yeah, I don't ever think of cooking one. Lovey, surely not.
Hey, how else would you eat it?
Fucking cook it. That's what you do. You cook it. You get it home, you throw it with everything else, you cook it. You don't eat that crap at all.
Wow, that's a point of discussion and a debate that I'm very keen to know if that's what people do. Eat the pickled onion or take it home and cook it. Jeez.
My favourite pickled onion's got to be the Macca's one, right? The Big Mac. I'll have those.
Yeah.
To the point where if you're in a group of people and they start taking them out, I say, hey, over here.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
They're the best.
But don't
My sons
give me
won't
that
eat them.
crap.
I eat them all the time. I love those little gherkin
Yeah.
things. They're great.
Yeah, but don't give me that crap about this whole I'll have a pickled onion at the fish and chip shop. That's just not right.
Mate, you need to get to your local fish and chip shop, mate. Just get one out of the jar. Just
I think the pickle has become the hipster's hero of the burger joints that have taken the world by craze in the last, I don't know, like barbershops the last 5 or 10 years. There's burger joints on every corner. The pickle is the hero of the burger now, mate. That's like takes center stage. It's like in a toothpick. It's like, look what we got.
If the pickle's the hero, no wonder the world's going to shit.
It's like the corned beef sandwich, affectionately known as the Reuben now, with
the Reuben
with the cheese and the pickle sliced gherkin sitting on the top, mate. It's an absolute winner.
The little cafe near as and I live has got the bratwurst sandwich, doesn't it? As at Stone's Throw.
Well, I don't know about bratwurst, but I think you are referring to the Reuben.
The Reuben
sandwich, yeah.
There's a great place. I don't know their name. I can't think of their name, but they're just a few houses down from the Brunswick Street Oval on Brunswick Street. They're the quiet part of Brunswick Street, and they're a toasty cafe, and they got like 7 or 8. My God, they're just to die for, and they got a great Reuben there, ads. And just quickly, Lovey, just in case, I'm a bit worried about this pickled onion business. Sushi. When you buy sushi, don't take the fish home and cook it, mate.
Don't ruin this.
You can eat it straight. You don't have to take that fish home and cook it. Just letting you know in case that's what you do.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm. There was one point there that Aaron made, and I can have the pickled onion with something else. So if it's with the corned beef, well, what are we calling it? The Reuben? Yeah. So if it's with the corned beef, I can vaguely accept that. It's literally just when you've got this sloppy looking thing coming out of a jar that every bloke's put his fingers in with and all the rest of it.
Love it, mate. You love it.
Give me a smell.
Maybe we're missing something, and that could be the great COVID fighter. After all, the pickled onion. It survived many a generation in that little preserved jar. We could be onto something, boys.
So what's been happening has just cracked one of the greatest mysteries of the world, guys. I reckon you've done it, Dish. You've done it.
Let's go. We could go on a Victorian tour of the great pickled onion. Just on that shop you were talking about, Dave, that used to be one of the absolute great fish and chip shops. That same venue that you're talking about, the one next to.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yep.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Young guys, and it used to be very, very busy little destination until, sadly, that was another one that passed on. And
wow.
Where's your best fish and chip shop, boys? Where's your best fish and chip shop?
Afro and Wolf. I just looked it up. Is the name of that toasty joint? Afro and Wolf. Check it out.
Will do.
Best fish and chips for you, Dave. Whereabouts?
Oh, that's a good question. There's a joint up there near. It's actually next door to Warringal Cemetery. They do a pretty good. There's
a location.
I eat my diet.
Yeah, on Upper Heidelberg Road there, across the road from the car dealers or the old car dealers there.
I know where that is. Yeah, blue and white joint.
Yeah. Don't let the dead people put you off, buddy. I recommend a flake from there and a cheeky little pickled onion. Yeah, and if you're not ordering fried dimmies, you can get out.
There's another question. Just on the dim sim.
Fried.
Which end?
Fried.
Which end first?
Oh, I got to have the covered end first.
Yeah, the pointy end.
Covered everywhere.
No, you can see the meat at the top end.
Yeah.
You eat the other end.
The flappy. So there's a smooth end, a flappy end, right?
Yeah, smooth end first.
Smooth, good. Flappy, no.
Nah, flappy first.
See, I always used to go that smooth end, the pocket end first. But the problem with that is you bite through and they blow out the back. There's the problem, mate. So you've got to go the other way, mate. There's a reason it all sits in that little pocket. It's like a good dumpling, mate. The dumplings taught me that lesson.
It's all about science, isn't it, Aaron? So you go
That's
you go the rough floppy first. You put the sauce on there, let it soak in, and then it's nice and neat right at the end in the last bite. Normally, though, with dim sims, I don't have 2 bites. So it's all in at one time anyway.
Straight
it doesn't
in.
matter.
Not the little tiny mini dim sims from Chinois that you're talking about, mate. The little frozen specials. Hey?
Mate,
I don't count.
I could put 6 of them in at one time. Not
Yeah,
a problem.
I bet you could. And just on the sushi thing, Lovey, you don't peel that seaweed stuff off, mate. That's not a wrapper. You're supposed to eat that.
Come on, mate.
You clowns think I'm
culture,
that
mate.
uncouth. You clowns think I'm that uncouth. I don't know how to have sushi. You fair dinkum?
We do think you're that uncouth, mate.
I don't know what to think after the pickled onion situation, mate. I'll tell you, I don't know what to
Hey, that's social insanity. What you guys do?
Chill insanity.
My view on sushi is it's fine. I got no issue with that as long as it's treated nicely and you don't get sick from it. Don't care. It's edible. It's nice. It's good. Happy with it.
Good stuff.
Well, the amount of sugar that's in that white sushi, mate, that'll survive any. You can't get sick from that, mate. It's not the sugar that's going to get you. It's that dodgy salmon you're eating.
I just want to make sure if I've got a thermometer, it doesn't get any stronger because it's been stuck in the fish. That's all. All the mercury.
And what about the great dessert? Let's finish it off with that. What's the great dessert or the Aussie pile of choice or ice cream of choice straight after the fish and chips? What do you finish it off, boys?
You've got to have
Friday night with
the choc mint ice cream. It's just the best.
Well, you haven't gone brand.
In your view?
No brand either. Like, let's start a promo here.
Sure,
Man,
I'm a bit. What are you? 6 years old?
Peter's ice cream's always been the best.
Peter's. Oh, that's original. Yep, well done. Come on, Snoozy. You got to break out a little bit, mate.
How is he, Dave? He asked me a question, asked my opinion, then shoots it down. So why would I give an opinion?
There's a reason ice cream shops sell more than vanilla, mate. You got to have a few. You got to experience the other flavors.
I'm a bit of a fan of toffee. Goes all right too.
Right, there you go.
I'll have a Peter's ice cream. You boring shit. Look, you know, when you've come from a fish and chip shop,
you'd be rumming raisins tonight, wouldn't you?
if they do it really well, what's the amazing dessert you can get from there every time?
Fish and chip shop.
Deep fried ice cream.
Mars bar and batter.
No.
Banana fritter.
Absolutely. You get that right. That is absolutely outstanding, that shit.
But a lot don't anymore, though, mate. If you had one recently, they tend to kill the banana.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's much banana in those anymore. It's like the little chocolate lolly banana, mate. There's not much lolly in that. Not much banana, that's for sure.
Mate, there's a full banana where I come from. It's nice and big, and it just goes nicely in the batter, and off it goes. Not a problem. I get a big banana all the time. Love it. Always love a big banana.
Oh, that could be a promo. Now
the big banana and his pickled onion.
Just on that, the dessert of choice for you, Dave, after the Friday fish and chips.
Oh, look, when I'm just going old school, I'll have to go the old Golden Gay time. I'm a bit of a sucker for a Golden Gay time. But if I go up market, it's got to be an almond magnum or a honeycomb maxibon, I've got to say.
Maxibon?
Yeah, with I eat the biscuit part.
That's the biscuit?
Second.
Yeah.
Yeah, eat the chalky part first, and then the biscuit part second.
The old Eskimo pie was good back in the day.
Oh,
the old Eskimo pie.
Absolutely, and you've stolen my thunder there. Absolutely, that Eskimo pie, peeling back that little bit of foil. I'm not trying to get the foil in the teeth.
Remember the old? Yeah, that's a good point, Az. Remember the old foil wrapper? How good was that?
Yeah,
where they're trying to get in your teeth while you ate it.
It wasn't that good. When I was 9 years old, I accidentally ate half of the full wrapper because I couldn't. And then my teeth were shattering like shit, and I couldn't work out why. And I'd had 2 fillings about a month before it.
Yeah, bringing it all back.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Saitel's piped in with the Monaco bar, mate. You can't go wrong on the old Monaco bar. So
yeah, they were good. Nothing beats a drumstick right now, though. The drumstick never fails, never will. You can always go to the shop.
Monaco bar. I forgot about the Monaco bar.
Remember the old simple and soup? Remember the old choc wedge?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just the old vanilla choc coating, bang. Just polish them off beautifully.
There he is with his high-class ice cream again.
You're back to
Mummy
vanilla.
used to get the 10-pack. They'd last about a day. We'd just eat 10 of them in a day, but just be gone. Man, the old man. They would not last a day.
No. Fair to say high-end ice cream's not your choice. I dare say
Norgan Vars is pretty good. Norgan Vars is pretty good, mate.
I dare say Bacchis and Tartufos and all those aren't really in your wheelhouse, mate, at the fish and chip shop or pizza shops. Normally we're known for those. Yes.
I remember we played a gig a couple of years ago, and I can't remember what it was for, but Ben and Jerry were sponsoring this. They were sponsoring something, and they were all over the stage. And I came out and I introduced myself and Nick as, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're Ben and Jerry." And I just ran with that the whole night. It was I got a lot of mileage out of it, let me tell you.
They're possibly the dearest ice cream and known to man.
Yeah.
$15 for a little piece of food. No, that's right.
Great ice cream.
Ben and Jerry driving around in bloody Ferraris now at our expense.
Yeah, absolutely they are. Absolutely they are. Dave, we're going to let you go shortly, and thanks for jumping on for us. But we're going to hit you up with one more, mate. We want a Dave Cosma original, mate, if you don't mind. What do you got for us?
I thought I'd just get the old electrical guitar, eh?
Hey.
Whose is that one?
Plug it in.
Who'd you see that off?
I found it in the back of someone's car last week, so I just took it. No, this is one. This is actually a new acquisition. I bought this about a month ago. I was using my brother's guitar of the same make, and his one's about literally 4 times more. This is like a cheap Chinese knockoff, but it's all right. It does the job.
It's like Cuzzo's choc wedge.
It's like the Coles home brand of yeah.
Can you Uber eat choc wedges? I wouldn't mind one right now.
I'm going to do a song called Purple Sign, which is, I guess, in these times, not being able to travel or go anywhere. It's a song that I wrote after my first trip to America. I hope you can hear it too, by the way, because I've got it going through the amp, and I've got no idea if you can hear it, but we'll give it a crack. Is it just me? Or does the world seem like it's going a little crazy? The song is for free, but no one really cares about the tears that I've been bleeding. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I said I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. Catch me out, never doing wrong. Comparison to the average man and his dog. Gonna hear you say reflections in the mirror. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I said I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. Don't want it to seem like I am. I'm pushing the friendship around. I'm glad I made the effort in the end. Follow the purple sign, like a year 8 teacher yelling in my back ear. Never once did it live up to its reputation. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I said I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. Don't want it to seem like I am. I'm pushing the friendship around. I'm glad we made the effort in the end. I said I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again. I'm going where I'm going, and together we'll be going again.
Excellent, mate.
Beautiful,
Great
Dave.
work, mate.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
You see it, Davey?
Let us- shoot us a message, mate, when you got some gigs coming up, and we'll make sure we get a crew along. Really
Thank you.
look forward
Thanks,
to
Ads.
getting back and seeing you out there live again. Thanks again, Dave.
Mate,
See you,
thanks
mate.
again. Thanks again for
See you,
everything
mate.
that you guys are doing to keep this thing happy and going and communicating. Appreciate it.
Good man. Thank
See
you.
you, buddy.
Go Bombers! Go Bombers!
Absolutely. Get into it.
What a great man, Dave Cosma.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that was a good surprise for you boys. I know I didn't word you up that Dave was coming on, and it's fantastic to have Dave with us again.
Good fella.
Fellow bomber, no doubt. All right.
I hope he's happy.
Things
I
up
hope he's
early.
happy at the end of the weekend.
Yes, the Bombers
Oh, mate, danger game for us.
facing,
Nothing sure. Danger game for us. North.
facing the Kangas. Yeah, that will be an interesting one.
We could get kangared. Reverse.
Yeah. Reverse
Reverse
Kanga.
King.
Look out. So just a quick shout out to a couple of shows coming up. We've got tomorrow night, Matt Joe Gow is going to join us. Bit of country and Americana. So he was. I was glad enough that he was my last show before lockdown with Ben Maswick at Brunswick Ballroom, which was an absolute delight. And then this Wednesday we've got a bit of folk. We're going with a lovely female entertainer, Joyce Pressure. So really look forward to that. A friend of Cuz's. So we look forward to.
Hey, mate. She's also someone else's Facebook friend as well. You may know, buddy. So don't be throwing me under the bus.
That's all right. We're also about supporting artists, mate, and that's all we can do these days. We really look forward to it. And just a quick shout out to some of Matt and Ben's shows coming up. Obviously, some of these will be rescheduled, but I'm sure Major Tom's the 24th. I reckon that's looking sketchy, but hopefully we can get at least one or two of these gigs back up and going. So it's going to be one of the road trips coming up, guys. So thanks again for your time, and feel free to join me tomorrow and in about. What do we got? An hour's time, and the Mighty Demons take the stage against the Hawks.
Do they
so
win?
look out.
Do they win?
Are they
mate?
going to win?
Oh, I think they've got to win tonight. It'll be too much at stake for them to drop. To risk dropping this one. So they've got to go hard. I think they got through. Hawks got through Burgoyne's game, and after that, I think they'll put the cue in the rack. I think the Hawks are done.
Have you got a 1.5 litre bottle of bourbon just in case they don't win, mate?
Fair to say,
1.5 litre.
I won't be answering
1.5
messages.
litre.
I won't be answering messages, and I'll be pretty
Oh, mate,
filthy.
we'll be sending them, though. Don't worry, we'll be sending them.
That's right. That's right. So thanks for joining me again, boys, at short notice. Look forward to
See you,
it.
boys.
And let's see you tomorrow night.
All
Good
good.
work, lads. Take it easy.